Oh, we don't learn this stuff. We learn harder stuff in grade 10. This is easy. Okay, so here's your title, Review of Table of Values and Special Lines. Okay. So table of values review, we just talked about if you have no fractions, then you want to start at -2 for x and work down to +2. So here's a table of values, x on the left, y on the right, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay. So please write down example number 1 and then leave a good space, about quarter of the page. Divide your page into 3. Okay. So we have to figure out our y value. We substitute into the equation for x. So y equals 3 times -2 minus 3. We talked about using brackets. That's very important. Okay. So y equals -6 minus 3. Y equals -9. And so now we can put that value in for y at the spot where x equals -2. Then we would do the same thing for x equals -1. So now I want you to do the math and solve for y, please. Okay, so we should get -3 minus 3, -6 is our answer. And we can do the substitution one more time using x equals 0. I already told you this one's special because the first term, the x term, cancels out. And so our value is our constant. Okay, our value is the -3 part right here. So that's kind of a special pattern you should be watching for, because that's going to help you later on when we graph just using that value. Not this year, next year. Good. So who sees a pattern?
I do.
What's the pattern? Going, yeah, up by 3s. So what's the next value then?
0.
And the next one? Good. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, can you guys, what I want you to do now is we want to graph that equation. So make a grid. Just use a ruler. Yeah. Leave space. We're going to put 2 lines on there. Now, go in between the line, on the line, in between the line, on, in between, on. Do the same thing up or down. That's just to help you get your grid. Left or right, try and keep it the same as going up or down. And that'll be harder. You only need about 6. Okay, 6 or 7. Okay. Once you've done that, plot your points. So we have 0, -3. 1, 0, 2, 3. Sorry, I'll show that. Now, -2, -9 is so low, I wouldn't even bother putting it on. Okay. Okay, so with graph paper, you can see this one point's a little bit off. Don't worry about that too much. Just make it a big point. Make it really big, and then it'll touch your line. Now, if that point right here was, say, down here, well, then you know something happened. You should go check your math. Okay? Okay. So we have to, 2 things. Number 1, do you have sides on your grid? No, so what you should do is put arrowheads to show that the line goes forever. Okay, so use arrowheads or touch the sides of the grid. Now the other thing is you want to label it. This, y equals 3x minus 3 is okay, but what else could you do that's easier? Kezia? Yeah, just put a 1 beside it because it's example 1. Okay, makes it easy. Now we need to start to remember what we're doing here. Okay, good. So example number 2, here's our equation for number 2. We're going to make an XY chart, but it's got to be special. Because of the fraction, the 2 in the denominator, what should we use? Multiples of 2. So negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and positive 4. Okay. So now you can do your math. Y equals 3 over 2 times 2. And simply go, sorry, I said 2. I don't know why I said that. It should be negative 4. Go negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So y is 3 times negative 2 plus 4. Negative 6 plus 4. Negative 2. Okay. So when you're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, you can do the division first. So make sure you know how to do this. It's really important, this math, because we're going to do it all the time. Any questions? Notice when x is 0, it's the value of 4. Who sees the pattern? Dustin? Yeah, it goes up by 3. So it should be 7 and then 10. Okay, please plot them. You're probably not going to plot the 2 and the 7. Okay, but plot those points and make a line. Go. So you can see if you have a grid, it's a little bit easier, a little more accurate. Okay, I kind of have to fake my last point because there's too much space there. Yeah. Okay, on a true grid, it would be extremely accurate. You wouldn't have to fake it. Yeah. Try and use a ruler as much as possible. Just saying. Any questions? What have I forgotten to do? That's right. Put a 2 right there, label it. Perfect. All right. Any questions? Nope. Good. Next thing we looked at, intercepts. Okay. So we're going to review axes, intercepts. So we're asking, when do we cross the x-axis? When do we cross the y-axis? Okay, so we have two equations and a grid in the middle. Remember, this is our x and that is our y. So when we cross the x-axis, now don't write this down in red, we don't go up or down. So there's no change in which value? In y. Y must equal 0. So for our x-intercept, when we cross the x-axis, y equals 0. What about your y-axis? Which intercept is it when we're on this line I just circled in green? That would be our y-intercept on the y-axis. For this one, there's no change left to right. So what does x equal? 0. Okay. So you should be able to figure out which value is 0 just by looking at the grid. Okay. All right. So let's have a look a little bit at the math. So find our x-intercept, y equals 0. So we go 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. 2x minus 0 equals 12. 2x equals 12. What does x equal?
12.
Nope. 2x equals 12, so x can't be the same. 6. There you go. Divide by 2. Okay. Then we can do the same thing to figure out our y-intercept. X equals 0. So 2 times 0 minus 3y equals 12. 0 minus 3y equals 12. Minus 3y. Be careful with that. Minus 3y equals 12. Y equals... Okay. So you can graph those points. Here's y equals negative 4 is down below. X equals 6. It's over to the right. And we've got to be careful with our math because if we're off on a value, we won't know since there's only 2 points. And so now you can make your straight line. And you can label it example 3. Okay. This question is totally cooked up, nice and easy. Now what is this actually as a point? It's 6, 0. What's the other one as a point? 0, negative 4. Okay. So it's important to know that. Those are specific point values. We just get lazy often and don't write it as a point. Okay. All right. What I want you to do now is I want you to find your x-intercept and your y-intercept. You just can't graph it because the numbers are so large. Okay, go ahead and find those two, please. I'll give you 5. Okay. Double check your work with mine. X equals negative 14. So that's actual point, negative 14, 0. And this point is 0, 4. Any questions? Now what you're going to see today is that sometimes it's not clear what you should do. Right? Here, if you get an intercept, you're going to get an intercept for x as 9 over 4, which is 2 1/4. Okay. Now, plotting 2 1/4 on your x is going to be hard. Here's 2, there's 3. 2 1/4 is somewhere like right there, but it's not exact. So what we're going to do is change into y equals, and then we're going to make a table of values to get exact values. Okay? So sometimes we want to change it into y equals. I'll give you a second. Please write down the two equations. Okay, so we have to change it y equals. The first thing we have to do is remove the 4x. So what do we do? That's right, this is a plus, so we have to go minus 4x. Do that to the left side, do that to the right side. We will have negative 3y, the negative sign does not change, minus 4x plus 9. There is a plus sign in between the equals and the 9. Any questions with this? This is a huge step. Any questions? Okay. Then we divide by negative 3. Both sides are divided. So y is negative 4 divided by negative 3x plus 9 divided by negative 3. It's important that you don't write this. If you do a sideways fraction, that is completely wrong. Do not do a sideways fraction. Okay, because x is not in the denominator. Good. Now simplify everything. So what? This becomes a positive because of the two negative signs, and this becomes negative 3. Okay. Okay, x, y. Okay. What number should you choose for x? Negative 6. There you go. At the bottom here it's plus. No, here? What's 9 divided by negative? Yeah, don't lose that negative sign in the denominator. Okay. Okay, go ahead, just do the math. Okay, fill this out, please. Use your new equation because it's nice and easy then. And you're practicing the math you need to know. So negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So y is 4 times negative 2 minus 3. Negative 8 minus 3. Negative 11. Okay. Negative 7. What's the answer for x equals 0? Look at your equation. When x equals 0, what's your answer? Negative 3. Okay. Now you should see a pattern. Who sees a pattern? Going up by 4. So our next answer is 1 and then 5. Good. All right. All right, try it for example 5 now, all by yourself. Change this so it's y equals. Okay, so there's your equation. Negative 6y over 5x plus 2. So I went 10 divided by 5 equals to 2. What number should I use for x? 10, negative 0, 5, and 10. Sometimes. So when you do your math, I believe that's what you get. So we get y equals negative 6 over 5 times negative 10 plus 2. Okay, so I did the first one, y equals positive 14. Hands up if you got that. Any questions at all? Kezia?
When you do like the subtracting for the first step,
Mm-hmm.
you want to subtract 3 and 6x. Why do you put it on the other side? Like, is that just the
The reason why is because I can see that 10 is not divisible by 6. Okay. Now in your work today, I'll tell you which method to use. So that my intercept is going to be a fraction. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to know what numbers do I have to use. The only way to figure that out is to change into y equals. Then I can see what the denominator is. Okay, and so once you see what the denominator is, then you know which numbers to choose. Okay, and I just look at this and go, well, 10 can't be divided by 6, so that's not going to work out very well. All right? You'll know more in your tests and quizzes. All right? We'll be able to help you with that. Okay, next, special lines. Nope, this one's super easy. So, special lines. What do you notice about example 6 and 7? Oh, if you need more paper, go ahead. You're probably going to need about a quarter of a page, half a page. Yeah, we just have 4 quick, easy ones to do. Don't groan too loud. So, these are special lines. Special, special, special. They have special equations. Look at example 6. Look at example 7. What do you notice about their equations? Oh, sorry, go ahead. One number, not good enough.
1 unit.
1 unit? Nope, there's no units at all. 1 what? Kezia.
The variable number thing.
Variable number, Tristan said it best. 1 variable. So special equations have 1 variable. They're either then going to give you a horizontal line or a vertical line. So you either have x equals or you have y equals. That's it. You don't have both letters, only 1 variable. So let's look at example 6. X, y, let's do a table of values. What number should you choose for x? There's no fractions. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, write down your answers for y. It's kind of special, isn't it? What does y equal? Oh, you're going to see. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is I want you to just quickly graph it and tell me what kind of line you get. Because I can tell you all you want, and you'll never get it until you figure it out yourself. What kind of line are you going to get from y equals? Plot the points, please. Put your points on the graph, and it should smack you in the face. Say, psh, there's a line. Oh, there's a point, there's a point, there's a point, there's a point to this, isn't there? So, here's my line. Y equals -2. What kind of line is that? Horizontal line. So for y equals -2, we get horizontal. Any y equals is a horizontal line. Okay. All right, let's look at example 7. X equals 4. Now, if you don't know how to graph this, do an XY table. It's going to be special. What should you write down for the X side? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. It's special. What should you write down for Y now? -2. Oh, -1, 0, 1, and 2. We have to switch it up. Good. Plot those points and tell me what kind of line is it. You think? Are you sure? Oh, what kind of line is that? I don't know. Look at those red points. Vertical line, exactly.
I said that.
I know, just making sure everyone else did their work. Okay. So there we get x equals 4. So for an x equal line, we get a vertical line. Okay. Okay, example 8. Do we have x equals? Not quite. We have -3x. How do we get rid of the -3? Divide by -3. So what does x equal? -3. Please graph that. You don't have to do a table of values.
Oh, we don't?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Well, do it on the same grid. Do it on the same grid if you want.
It's too small.
That's fine. We get x equals -3. That's right here. Nice vertical line. X equals -3. Okay, last one.
Oh my god. Awesome.
What do you think we're going to have to do with a -20? Move it over by adding 20. So now we get 5y equals +20. What does y equal? 4. Go ahead and graph this now. Make your graph. You don't have to do a table of values. So it's a line that's horizontal, it's flat, and y equals 4. There you go. Special lines, special equations. They also have special slopes. They're very special. They are. Any questions?